Now we're going to the Eastern Conference matchups. The first one we're going to talk about is the Boston Celtics versus the Philadelphia 76ers. This series is also tied 2-2. Crazy game yesterday. Harden essentially with the game-winning shot, huge three-pointer. Had a great game. What are your thoughts?
That basically Doc Rivers outcoached Mazzulla. Mazzulla kind of pulled a Coach Bud in the end of the fourth quarter and in OT. He had a timeout remaining in the end of the fourth quarter, which I honestly don't mind too much because the game was tied. You had 14 seconds to go. Your team fought their way back because they were down by 10, I believe, to begin the fourth quarter. So I don't mind letting your players just play it out. But when you're down one in OT, you have 14 seconds, you have two timeouts, that's when you usually call timeout and run a play. Because basically both times Smart just took so much time off the ball and Tatum had 5 or 6 seconds left and he had to rush a shot or rush a pass or rush a drive within the last 5 seconds. And he was just very indecisive because he had 5 seconds to like work with, right? So it was just late game execution in terms of the Celtics. Having said that, like Horford kind of played insane defense on Embiid. He blocked Embiid 5 times. Um, but Harden basically won the game for the Sixers. Like he was hitting from everywhere from three, from the mid range. He was passing the ball well. He hit the clutch three, which for some reason Jaylen Brown left him in the corner by himself for whatever reason. So for me, it's one of those cases where like people ask, did the Sixers win it or did the Celtics lose it? It's probably one of the rare cases that is both. Like the Sixers played well to win, but the Celtics also made a handful of mistakes at the end of OT and regulation to like lose. Um, but I mean, credit to the Sixers. They played really, really well, especially their defense on Tatum. So yeah, I mean, I think so far this series has been really good with a lot of surprises. So I'm looking forward to like game five.
Yeah, same here. I totally agree. I think the X factor right now is Harden for the series. Honestly, so far from what I've seen, right? The two games the Sixers have won, Harden has gone for 40+ points. Now, is that sustainable? I don't think so. Just because he's had a lot of wear and tear throughout his career as well. He has shown he does have the capability because a lot of people criticize him for not playing well in the playoffs, and to be fair, he doesn't have a great track record in the playoffs, but for two games in the series, the two games the Sixers have won, he's had phenomenal games, hitting jump shots and pretty much carrying the team. Obviously, another big factor is Embiid, playing well because he didn't have such a good showing in the past two games in terms of like timely situations for them. So yeah, I think moving forward, the winner of the series will be determined by obviously coaching is going to be a huge factor, but also I think Harden playing well. If Harden is not playing well, then Maxey has to be phenomenal, pretty much putting up Harden numbers. So
Mhm.
one of those two need to pretty much go off in order for the Sixers to win.
Yeah.
Having said that, since it's so contingent on two players, the Celtics still are the more well-rounded team, and they had a chance to win this game as well. And overall, I think since they are the more well-rounded team, and also they're the younger team, I'm ultimately going to give them the edge. My opinion of the series will I'll still have the Celtics winning, but since the Sixers do have some fight left in them, I'm going to go with Celtics in seven.
Yeah, I think the Celtics should win in six. Um, Basically, they're a really good 46-minute team. It's just the final 2 minutes that's very questionable. Um, the the ball should be in Tatum's hands. I don't know why Smart insists on always having the ball in his hand to execute the a last possession offensive play. Not sure why, but Tatum should be the one having the ball. Um, Jalen is not as good of a playmaker as Tatum, and quite frankly, Jalen has he's very linear with his offensive attacks. Like Tatum has much more. I mean, I don't want to say in his bag, but Tatum just has a much more offensive arsenal than Jalen does, and he has a much more better feel for the ball when it comes to playmaking as well. So, as long as the Celtics can limit their mistakes and execute decently well in the last 2 minutes of the game, I feel like they should win in six. Um, I mean, it's hard for me to believe that Harden has two more 40-point games in this series, right? Because the two games that the Sixers have won is when Harden has gone for 40 plus.
Yeah,
So
but I mean, what if Maxey plays well?
true.
And what
True.
if Harden gets more assists? Like if he can have, maybe he's not scoring as much. Maybe he's only having maybe 20 points or maybe 18 points. But what if he has 15 assists or something along those lines where Maxey would have maybe 30 points or something like that, right? He can
Yeah, fair
distribute.
enough.
It's around, Harden's a great playmaker himself.
Hmm.
So we'll see. I think it's going to be a fun series to watch in the Eastern Conference. So